Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here with everybody's favorite phone that they don't like, the iPhone. And this is the iPhone 13 Pro. I've had this since the day that it came out. And I've been wanting to make a follow-up video that nobody's going to watch. I know that I'm not the source for iPhone videos, but I feel like it's important because this phone is so good. And I really hate to say that because Apple did a real bang-up job. And if nothing else, I could praise it for the camera and the battery life. And those are two of the really most important things to me. Oh, and also the ProMotion display, because of course the 120 hertz adaptive refresh rate, all that good stuff. So they finally hopped on board the refresh rate. They finally hopped on board the refresh rate wagon, like Android, which they've been doing for several years. And I gotta say, I think that the iPhone 13 Pro may just have the best cameras, especially the best video cameras of 2021, and it irks me to say that, but I feel like it's kind of true, and I appreciate them. I like them a lot. I'm recording right now with my wife's iPhone 13 Pro Max, but normally all the videos you see, I record with my iPhone 13 Pro. It's the perfect phone for content creation. So if you're out there looking to see about making your own YouTube channel or something like that, even iPhone 12, iPhone 13, doesn't matter, that primary camera with the 4K 60, 4K 30, 4K 24, it works out really, really well, and you can just airdrop everything over. So this phone for me, as much as I'm not an Apple fan, and I'm really not. Not a fan of the culture, not a fan of the company, not a fan of the employees there, the high-level CEOs, all that stuff. Yeah, they like to try and... Apple's very good about trying to tell you how you should do things with your technology, and I want to do what I want with my technology the way that I want to do it. And so we have a fundamental difference and disagreement there, which is one of the reasons why I like Android so much. You can kind of change everything. So this phone, the iPhone 13 Pro, I love it. There are things I don't love, like the weight. I wish they'd get rid of this whole stainless steel thing because it's heavy, really heavy, and also it's very blocky. I do like the design. I like this boxy kind of retro appearance to it, but the thing is, it makes it harder to hold on to. It makes it feel like a brick in your hand. It's less ergonomic. That's one of the nice things about some of the Android phones, especially the ones with the curved edge displays. They make it where you can reach all the way over. Like, this is a smaller phone, 6.1 inch screen. I can't even reach across to the other side with my thumb. So that's because it's so wide, it's so blocky, and it's flat. It's very hard, rigid corners. So then you put a case on it, it's game over. But battery life is phenomenal. And if you've watched any of my Android phones this year, you know that not a fan of the battery life on the S21 Ultra, not a fan of the battery life on the OnePlus 9 Pro, not a fan of the battery life. It's a laundry list because I'm always killing these phone batteries. This right here is the only phone that I could even come close to not killing in 2021. And I'm sitting here right now. I took this off the charger this morning, probably at 9 o'clock. It's 11:07 at night, and I've still got 36% battery left. This phone will routinely get me from like 8 in the morning till like 3 o'clock the next morning before I put it on the charger. It's just uncanny. Of course, that's with adaptive brightness on. Here's one thing. Y'all know this if you've watched my videos. I hate adaptive brightness on Android. It's terrible. It's always too dim. It's never right. Even if you give it time to learn, it's just not good. Adaptive brightness is so much better, so much more usable, so much less taking you out of the experience when you're using the phone, and a lot less frustration. So I leave it on, and I've been getting over 10 hours of screen on time. 10 hours. The best I've gotten on any of the Android phones is about 6. The flagship Android phones running a Snapdragon 888 at some points in time, 5-6 hours screen on time. We're talking way bigger batteries. The battery in the iPhone 13 Pro is not that big. It's like 40% smaller than the 5,000 milliamp battery ones that are going into these big gigantic flagships like the Pixel 6 Pro and the S21 Ultra. So Apple, for all the things I don't like about them as a company, their phone, which I also don't really... It's a good phone. It's a very good phone. I don't want to give the wrong impression here because I know people here who like the phone who really want to get information, and that's what I'm here to do. I try to be as objective and unbiased with this stuff. Whenever I do my testing, I do my usage cases and all that stuff. But that's why I'm talking about it, because there are two phones this year that have really, really surprised me. The Pixel 6, which you've seen a lot of videos about, and then the iPhone 13 Pro. You get the perfect battery life, which is amazing, unlike anything we've seen in any other iPhone. The processor, the A15 Bionic, has all the power you could need. It's zippy, it's snappy, it's super powerful. You can max out anything possible that you run on it. And then the cameras are just so good. And then the cinematic mode, and then you get the rack focus. You can do some serious stuff on here. I'm going to caveat here, put a little asterisk next to it. You may not need the Pro phone. Just going to say that right now. If you don't want the telephoto lens, you don't care about the ProMotion display, save yourself a couple $100 and just get the iPhone 13. Get the $799 model. You still get the good primary camera. You still get the good ultra wide. You're still going to get good battery life. I mean, most iPhone 12 and 13 phones will pretty much last anyone all day long, which it's not even a discussion anymore. And I can remember back to the days, the iPhone 10, the iPhone 10s, the iPhone 8, they had terrible battery life. Like, it was not good. I would kill those things by like 2 in the afternoon. And then there was a change in the balance of power, pun intended. And whenever iPhone 11 came out, the battery life went off the charts. And then the iPhone 12, it took a little bit of a backseat, about a 15% reduction. They brought that back in the iPhone 13 Pro, but whatever it is with this new Bionic processor they have and the adaptive power management and all the stuff that they do, it's just good. So, like, yeah, 40% of this review is battery life, utterly amazing, and I think that's pretty much resonated across the entire tech community. I don't know anybody, if somebody's complaining about the battery life on this phone, they need to see a doctor. Anyway, so other nice things. Of course, they're there. I mean, you've got the 6.1-inch screen. You can get the bigger iPhone 13 Pro Max if you want. You can pay more money. It's $10.99. This one's $9.99. And the Pros go all the way up to 1 terabyte. You're going to pay a lot of money for that, though, because it's like an extra $100 per each storage iteration. So an iPhone 13 Pro, $9.99, 128 gigs. If you want 256, you got to go pay $10.99. If you want 512, you got to pay $12.99. If you want 1 terabyte, you got to pay like $13.99. I think is what it is. Either $13.99 or $14.99. It's really, really expensive. But I went ahead and I paid that this go around. I got the 512 because I use this thing all the time. Even when I'm not actively using it with the SIM card, I record all of my videos with it, and it's just so good. The native microphone pickup is already good. I actually have a Shure MV8 lightning port, just plug it straight in, condenser microphone that I use, and it works wonders. So if you want a good kit, if you want a good setup for doing vlogging, for doing regular recording, this right here is perfect. You don't need to go get a Panasonic. You don't need to go get a Sony. You don't need to go get a Nikon. You can use this. You can make amazing YouTube videos. Not like the stuff I'm making. I'm just the old middle-aged guy here losing his hair, drinking ginger ale, talking about tech. But you could make some truly inspiring stuff with this. And that's what they're trying to go for with the Pro model. The Pro model this year, I finally feel like has taken that leap, and they've made it to really, it does stand out as a Pro model. Again, the rack focus, the cinematic mode, the macro mode. Macro mode is amazing. I like macro mode. I've made other videos of it, a lot of other phones with the lenses, and I call it the National Geographic shots, where you can get those up close and personal. You can see the ants carrying the little leaves. You can see little water droplets. That stuff is cool. I like that. Like, I like macro mode better than I like wide angle, like super wide, ultra wide photos. And when it comes to this, it's so good. And that's a problem. Like, whenever the Android ones, it's like, okay, it was always a 2 megapixel. It was a 5 megapixel. This one uses the same 12 megapixel camera, and then it converts over and it starts using it for a macro, and it's just crazy good. It's the ultra wide. It's whatever they do. I don't know how in the world they do it. I think it's the ultra wide lens anyway. I love it. It takes some really uncanny macro mode National Geographic shots. So this one is the complete package. Not only is it the complete package, but it lasts all day and all night. Like, it lasts forever. So you can get one of these and take it off the charger in the morning, go out and shoot photos, go shoot videos. Now, it does, when you do that, drain the battery more. I did take it. I made a camera review at Disneyland. I had a lot of fun making it, and I went out there and I used it, and I killed the sucker by like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. First time I ever did it, but I think I shot like 460 photos and like 60 video clips. That stuff is really taxing. The 4K camera, 4K video, all that stuff that you're going to do, it drains the battery faster than basically anything else that you can do. So, great phone, lots of accessories, a lot of stuff out there you can get, screen protectors out the wazoo. They made the Face ID sensor a little bit smaller. It's kind of a little more slimline, and I'm okay with that. I mean, you can see it right here. I don't have another one to compare it side by side, but they did a good job. I like the ProMotion display, It was a little bit of a hiccup at first. I still don't know if they're 100% there. Not everything runs at 120 hertz. It was only like native Apple stuff, and then even still like a bunch of third-party apps and some other stuff needed support. So I haven't checked on it recently. I still don't think it's at 100% there. It's definitely not as good as Samsung. Samsung's 120 hertz, and even Google's Pixel 120 hertz is just, it's so nice. It's like buttery crisp and smooth and like everything that you do. Here, you can notice a difference. If you come over from a regular iPhone and try this out, it's like night and day. So it does make a noticeable difference. If you think there's not a difference, go back and look at a 60 hertz one, and then come back and look, and you'll be like, yeah, I can't ever go back to that. But yeah, I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time here. I know a lot of people still don't even have these. It was announced on September the 14th. It was available in stores on like September the 24th, which is the day I got mine. And I also got my silicone case, which has held up really well. We're going on about 3 months now, and I haven't had any problems with it. This is my favorite case that I use that's non-leather for the iPhones. I get one of these as soon as I get my iPhone. I get my Apple Care Plus. I don't have to worry about it. And yeah, it's an investment. It costs money. I know I just made a video about how I said like $999 phones, $1,000 phones are becoming obsolete. And in many ways they are. But also, with certain feature sets, they are necessary for certain subsets of people. So if you're a pro-level creator, photographer, videographer, someone like me who uses this stuff all the time, yeah, the pro models make sense. For a normal everyday person, you don't need to go buy a pro-level phone. Just get the regular one. You're going to find that it does everything that you need it to do. Yeah, it doesn't have the ProMotion, it doesn't have the telephoto lens, but everything else is pretty darn spot on. So if you're considering getting one and you think you need the Pro, ask yourself why you need it, because you probably don't. Like, if you know that you need it, go get it. Some people need a terabyte of storage. Very few people. I don't even need a terabyte of storage, and I record videos every single day. 512 is good for me. But 128 is probably fine for most people, and then you can get your iCloud storage, and then you get Apple TV, you got your Apple TV Plus, Apple Fitness Plus, your Apple Card, Apple Pay, all that stuff. It's an entire like experience and ecosphere of stuff that still Android has not caught up with yet. And of course, you get the iMessage, which everybody loves, and it carries across to your MacBook, your iPad, your Apple Watch, all that stuff. They are way far ahead of the game in the software and the services department, and Android and these different companies like Samsung and Google are trying really hard to catch up. But when you have like a decade head start over everybody, it's kind of hard. So, yeah, I hate that I like it so much. I think it's a very good phone. My two contenders for phone of the year this year are the iPhone 13 Pro and then the Pixel 6. And they're kind of in different categories, different stratifications. If you want an iPhone, I think the iPhone 13 Pro is the best that you can get for most people. Of course, yes, if you want the bigger screen, get the Max, but most people classify them both as the Pro because the hardware is exactly the same. There's no difference, especially this year. A lot of people don't need that. Get the regular iPhone 13. Heck, even get an iPhone 12. Like, the iPhone 12 is a great value. And it's going to do 99.9% of everything, especially since you're not getting the telephoto and you're not getting the 120 hertz ProMotion display. Save yourself some money. It's going to be supported for like 6 years. I mean, they're still supporting the iPhone 6S and the iPhone SE from like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever. It's crazy that they support them for so long. So, yeah, you don't necessarily have to get an iPhone 13 Pro, but if you're interested in one, if you need one, if you just really want one, I think it's the best. This is the best iPhone I've ever used. I really like it. 3 months later, I'm very happy with my purchase. Again, I use it every single day to make videos, and it's a solid, smooth experience. I know that some people were saying there were hiccups when it first started, even with the betas. I haven't personally experienced a whole lot of issues. I did have some connectivity issues like the first week or two, but they got patched pretty quickly. And ever since then, it's been pretty smooth sailing for me. So, I like it. I hate that I like it, but it's a very good phone. And I respect that. I can appreciate that. And that's why I'm here to tell you guys. Because if you're in the market to get one, you're going to be crazy happy about it because they have totally nailed it with this phone. But again, if I were to go out and buy only one phone and I didn't make YouTube videos, I would probably still get the Pixel 6. So, placing all that in perspective, very good, very nice, shiny, great colors, looks solid. Also, the other thing I don't like is the lens flare. They still haven't fixed this lens flare issue. If you look into direct sunlight, if there's like some bright light sources, you'll get those little artifacts, the little green blurbs on that floaters on your screen, and it's kind of annoying. So yeah, if you've got direct light sources, daytime or nighttime, mostly the sun or like parking lot lights and things like that, it can cause some little green dots that are annoying. And I made a video about that too that you can check out regarding the camera. But I have very few complaints about this phone, other than the fact that it's made by Apple. And I still find the operating system very boring. I just have to say that. I wish they would change some things. I know why they don't. They want to keep it seamless. They want to keep the transition seamless. They want everything to work exactly the way it's supposed to work. They don't really change much. I get that. That's great for people who are not tech nerds like me, who want to change everything and don't like being locked into a box. But for the rest of the world, it's great. And you probably like it. But that's one of the things. You have an iPhone 8, you get an iPhone 13 Pro. It's exactly the same. You use your restore, you pop it up, and it's just like you left your old phone. And that's what you get. And some people really love that. It's just not my favorite thing. So that's all I've got in this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.